State Barber Board is now called to order in session. May we all join in for prayer.
Let us pray. In the name of Jesus, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this board, our director and his staff. And then, God, we thank you for all your blessings. And we lift up our dear friend, J.B. Lauren, on this day. We pray for him, his healing, and his family. Bless all who are here. And watch over us, God, as you always will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now would you join in for the pledge of allegiance to the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call starting, all right. Larry High,
Donald Collins.
Joe Jones.
Ron Gillihan.
And as you see that the president is not here, so I will be acting in his behalf. And as stated in the prayer, we hope that his illness, he'd get better and all. So we'll try to stay in touch with him and see how he's doing. Thank you. The minutes of the last meeting, we all read the minutes, and already been read. If there are no changes, we ask a motion to approve the minutes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the past minutes.
Second.
Been moved and properly second that we approve the minutes, and been second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, may use the same sign. Minutes approved. We have appearing before the board, Denise Lawrence. We ready for that?
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Denise is unable to join us today. Rachel Powers will be doing the briefing on the legislative changes, and the session has come to a close, so she'll fill us in on everything. She's having to cover 3 board meetings today, so I told her we would be a little bit flexible. When she gets in, we may interrupt and let her fit in. And so we're going to skip the appearing before the board and our updates for the legislative piece, if that's okay with you.
Be
And we'll
fine.
let her come in. Wonderful.
So we'll just skip that for now.
That is correct.
Okay. We now go to the administrative report.
Thank you. Next on our agenda are the applications for examination on your iPads. They start on page 4. Applications have been received for Dumterius Crawley, Christopher Davenport, Carl Miller, Letterans Randall, Timothy Smith, Derek Bond, and Robert Chambers. All have felonies and have submitted their information for the board's approval. The required documentation, disclosure of student information, and a letter of recommendation from the school that they attended has been submitted for your review. Upon review of the information, we will send out consent orders for them for a 2-year probation period as usual.
Okay, we'll take a little time to review.
Thank you.
Morning. me know when you're ready. Okay, is there any particular ones that you have any discussion on?
Mr. Davenport presented a lot of information.
He did, sir.
Yes.
A lot more than we probably
A lot more than we
needed.
probably needed.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
His letter does sum up
Yes,
what the
exactly.
charges are, but once he
Exactly.
presented them, yes,
Exactly.
you are correct.
Exactly.
That's the one that I was concerned about too, but,
He presented a lot of information.
okay. Okay, are you ready to vote on?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve these applicants along with the normal probational period.
Second.
Been moved and proper second that we receive and approve these applicants. And hearing the motion, are you all ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And approve. If you have any objection, use the same sign. Hearing none. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will go ahead and go back to our update of the 2014 legislative session, and Rachel Powers has joined us, so if you've got any questions, I'll let her, first of all, fill you in on everything that has happened since the last meeting. Thank you, Rachel.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning.
Hope everyone had a good holiday weekend. I know I did. The weather. I just wanted to give y'all a brief update. Again, I apologize. Just couldn't make it in. Just a couple of matters. 1730, which is the merger of the Board of Cosmetology and Barber. Bill, which is House Bill 1138. Would you need to grant that authorization? The bill lists the
Yes, could you explain that bill to me, Rachel?
it's got a little bit of a history. And that's what this bill is.
Okay, okay.
And virtually, it is a requirement, so those.
Rachel,
I like that. I like that.
pardon me.
That's a good bill.
I see we have a school owner back here in the audience. Does the school need to go ahead and submit a letter to request that, or is it something that automatically take effect for them?
Well, if you do get that being said, schools can do it at any point in time. A lot of them.
Good.
Any other questions about any other legislation? Thanks, Sean.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next, we are on page 51. In our miscellaneous section, we have a request to apply to test for master barber license for Maurice Payne. Mr. Payne and his wife are here today. They will be able to answer any questions you have. We'll get them up to the podium here in a second. I just want to show you what we've got on the iPad. He's got a letter that he has presented that I'll give you a minute to read here. Mr. Payne's license was revoked on March 24th of 2014. He applied for reciprocity on the basis of military service in November 2009 with a fraudulent documentation. He has paid the $1,000 civil penalty in that particular case, and it did not go to formal hearing. Jet College of Barbering has provided a letter regarding Mr. Payne's 1,500 hours that he completed in October of 2008, so he has the educational hours. Because he did not ever test in Tennessee, the hours weren't reflected on the board's records, but the school's record of completion and the letter that they have provided is acceptable to the board. Mr. Payne would like to take and pass the Tennessee examination to complete the process of obtaining his license properly if the board approves this request. Provided for your review is a letter that he's prepared, and again, he is here to answer any questions you might have.
Hey, did you say Mr. Payne is here?
Yes, sir.
Would you care to
Absolutely.
come forward?
Come on up. And Mr. Payne, I'll have you speak up, the microphone above you.
Doing
All right.
well, thank you.
Notes here it says you obtained your license the wrong way. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Sure, no problem. Okay, back in '08. Going to get out license. I went from there, and then when I was going to school, I'm from Ripley, so I was around the location and who I was around and all that, made a bad. I know who he was, a thief, whoever. So, like, when he came back, he was like, everything went through. I was like, what? And then I was like, did I, just being, that just got through. really relieved me though, cause that wasn't nothing I wanted to do, and I got my hours, and I want to do it the right way for my kids and my wife.
So you did finish your 1,500 hours in a state school, but you made a bad decision as far as receiving your license.
Didn't know it was gonna go through though. I didn't even know, you know, not being from around there. People like everything went through. I'm like, what went through? And when I'm really relieved seeing y'all, being in y'all faith with my wife.
And we don't know how the board will decide on this day, but in the future, I would like to advise you if anything like that take place again, call the board and ask questions before you go into something like that.
I will never do
There'll
never be another situation in there.
And we appreciate you. We appreciate you for coming in today and expressing yourself, letting us know, you know, what exactly happened.
I feel good getting it out.
Did you obtain a license just at that particular time from this person? Well, have this person have? Are they still around? Since then you don't know anything else about it?
I was just around there at that time going to school. Like I said,
You just figured, well, you was legal, you had a license to operate and go to work, and then during that particular time, you decided you would come forward and try to clear the matter up, and you're willing to take the test or whatever we decide to make it legal.
yes, sir. I'm a family.
Mr. Jones, may I ask a couple of questions?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Payne, do you recall the name of this individual that you talked to? I know you said you weren't from around there and maybe fell in with some bad people, but if you happen to remember his name at all.
I don't even know him, sir. I don't know him from.
Did you give this person any money to help you with the?
There wasn't no money. There wasn't nothing given. It was just. I didn't know him, but just being around somebody, you know.
And did this person, whoever it was, tell you how he intended to help you get a license, or what kind of stuff they would send in? Because, you know, licenses just don't grow on trees, pardon me for saying so, but did they tell you or any of the other people, hey, look, you know, this is how we're going to do this, but I need your social to make it happen?
What it was, well, he was talking to the other fellas.
Did this person tell you that they were affiliated with the board in any way? No? Okay.
Another question: was the owner of the school familiar with this person?
You know, it was a pretty good sized school, so.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of any of the other fellows that was there? Have you had any contact with any of those that obtained theirs at the same time?
I just left everything alone, trying to stay focused on what I need. Look,
Classmates?
yeah, to talk while we was in there.
Were you ever a veteran?
So just to be clear, you were not aware that this individual was going to submit fraudulent military documents on your behalf, saying that you had served and got barber training in the military? All right. That's all the questions I have, Mr. Jones.
Do you think that Jet would have a record of the students that were there at the same time that you were, that was involved in this? If it's possible, you know, we would like to do some backtracking and see if this is still going on, if possible, There's probably some more out there, you know?
You know, sir, I'm sure there'll probably be more out there. I don't want to be one of them. So I'm sure it's been a long time, so I can't really discuss that.
I know Jet Barber College. I know Pastor Ellis. I live in the Memphis area. I've inspected that school. Pastor Ellis and the people who run it have some great integrity. I'm concerned about you passing out your Social Security number to somebody you don't know. I mean, I mean, that's hard for me to comprehend. I understand that people make mistakes. I understand that. And I visited a number of schools in Memphis, and I have the opportunity to talk to students. And one thing I leave them with is do it right. Just do it right. Just do it right. I mean, this board and this staff, Miss Roxana, Attorney Chris, everybody, Miss Betty, we're all on your side. Just do it right. And I do understand people make mistakes. I have been hearing that these allegations are floating around, and I haven't heard a name yet, but I'm looking for one. And when I find out the name, it's going to be certainly a broadcast. But be that as it may, I'm hoping that you have learned your lesson. Just do it right, Brother Payne. You're looking at over 300 years experience on this board. Just do it right. So whatever the board decides, that's what the board would decide. But I just want to encourage you. And this is the start of you doing it right by showing up and appearing before this board. This is the beginning of you doing it right. Okay?
Jones, if I may, you can probably tell this from the documents, but Mr. Payne was one of the first ones to respond to us out of the group of similarly situated people. You know, he didn't, try to run or hide. He sent us the documentation we asked for when we asked for it, and, did go ahead and pay the civil penalty, which the board authorized, which I can't imagine was easy, knowing that, you're about to be out of a job pretty soon.
Right.
And so, I think the board can and should consider that and give it whatever weight it deems necessary. And I certainly wouldn't presume to speak for the board, but one option the board may wish to consider if it is inclined to give Mr. Payne the opportunity to do it right is to give him some sort of probationary period the way that you do on initial applicants. Now, granted, Mr. Payne's not a felony situation, but because he had a license that was revoked before, I think the board certainly has the discretion to impose conditions if it wishes to grant him the opportunity to get his license the right way. And so, obviously, within reason, but, if the board's will is to say, okay, Mr. Payne, go take the test, try and do this right, you get your license, whether it's 2 or 3 years probation or whatever, just so the board can kind of keep an eye on him and make sure he's still doing it right for a little while down the road. But that's one option, but the board may obviously do as it will.
I totally agree, Mr. Payne coming forward, and we appreciate that. And I think we should grant him opportunity to get his license, and maybe a year or 2 probation. And after that, you get into no more problem, have no more problem. It'll be totally wiped away from your slate. That's what I would recommend.
Like to make that a motion, Mr. High?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we give Mr. Payne the opportunity to take his chance and put him on a 2-year probation. And after that time, if we have the state have no more problems with him, it'll be wiped clean from his slate.
Get a second? You get a second motion?
Do we have to make the motion? Then I can make a
Yeah,
statement.
he's already made a
Made the
motion.
motion.
Oh, okay,
You
okay.
can make a statement afterward.
Okay, second motion.
It's been moved and proper second that we would give Mr. Payne the opportunity. The board was stated from Mr. High that 2-year probation, and after 2 years, if there's no problems, we wipe it all clean, and he'll be just like any other barber. Hearing the motion, are you ready to vote? Any questions?
There is one thing I would like to say. Again, I am from the Memphis area, and there are a lot of good barbers, lots of good schools that's doing it right. And I really would commend you on being here today. This 2-year probation would be nothing for you to complete if you just do it right. Just do it right. Take the exam, get your license, work, take care of your family, and do it right. And this 2 year be over with in no time. Okay. Now we appreciate you for being here and being honest about what's going on. I would like to I don't know if this would be appropriate to ask, but are we investigating this?
Mr. Collins, without getting into too much detail, and some of that being because we have quite a few open investigations on similar allegations
enough,
at this
Chris.
time, we think and Roxana can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have a pretty good handle on the situation now, and that's
Good.
really,
Good.
I don't want to say any more for fear of contaminating.
Good. That's good. That's good enough for me. That's
Okay.
good enough for me. I just
But we're seeing, it seems as though the problems keep coming from the Memphis area, though, and the illegal stuff. Seems like it's just coming mostly from the Memphis area.
Okay,
Well, let's don't beat up on Memphis too hard. Now. I mean, I'm
Gotta
from
go by what
Memphis now, okay? I mean, we got some. I said earlier we had some. Did I say we had good barbers? Yeah. I mean, Memphis is a big area, and certainly we have our problems. But when we see young men like you coming
Yeah.
forward,
You're right,
you know
right.
that says a lot
That said a lot.
for
Yeah.
Memphis, and then I'm from Memphis, so that says a lot by itself. I'm sitting on this board, so. But anyway, thank you so much.
okay. Previous question, are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Ah,
Opposed, may use the same sign. Motion carried.
good luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Good luck to
Appreciate you, Brother Payne.
You're welcome. Good luck to
Okay.
you.
Good luck to you.
You know, what will happen is legal will send a consent order for the 2-year probationary period. Upon you signing the consent order and filling the application to test, you'll be ready to set your date, okay?
Appreciate it.
Very good to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming forward.
Good luck
We-
to
luck.
you.
Come forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Payne, can you just hang tight 1 second? I'll speak to you in the hallway.
The next item on your agenda is a relocation of school for Paul Mitchell, and this morning, Mr. Johnson and I spoke. He's going to need to delay that for possibly the next meeting, so we're going to skip over that on your iPads. The next thing, if you will skip down to the request by Mr. Eddie Lee Wren III. He is requesting the board to waive the requirement to take the Tennessee examination that is pursuant to Rule 200-1.11, Section 4, which requires an applicant to retest if their registration had expired for more than 3 years. Mr. Wren originally obtained a license in 2008 and did not renew it timely in 2010. He was provided a letter explaining that he provided a letter explaining that he did not know that his suspension due to non-payment of student loans also affected his barber license, and it does. The 3 years had actually lapsed before he was under that suspension, but he did want to request a waiver from the board. My recommendation is that we deny the request and that he comply with the rule, which is he would have to take the examination.
Thank you.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So we don't need a motion on that, then? It just,
We do. If you
Okay.
agree with someone will have to make
Okay.
the motion to agree with the recommendation.
you want to do that now? You got some more? You just
No, we
go
can do that
ahead.
now.
Do that now?
That's all I've got.
Okay.
I'd like to make the motion that we deny Mr. Warren's request and allow him to take the exam.
A second.
It's been moved and proper second that we deny the request and hear the motion and ready to vote. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, use the same sign. Ayes have it, motion's carried.
Next, we're on page 76. It's a request for a workshop approval for 2015 for the instructor seminar by Ms. Eleonora Dorch Warwood. She is the CEO of the Beyond Beauty Group. Documents are provided for your review, which include the content of the two-day course and the agenda. Ms. Dorch Warwood presented the information to the Cosmetology Board and was given an approval to hold one session during 2014 with a board member attending so that it could be evaluated. She was unable to schedule and come to the meeting to present before you today, so she was very sorry to not be here. The date she's tentatively looking at, if this board also approves this as a possible workshop for our instructors, would be August the 3rd and 4th. She would hold a two-day seminar if the information is something that you would like to approve as well.
Where is this being located?
I believe she's going to hold it in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken, in the Memphis area. Ms. Pearl Walker Ali with the Cosmetology Board is involved in putting that together. A different board member would be attending besides Ms. Walker Ali, and with it being one merged board in August, it would just be able to be one person. Now, we could have one on each day attend, and that may be the route we want to go to evaluate it. We could have a Barber representative go on one of the days and a Cosmo representative from go on the other days, if that is what you decide. And the dates that she has set aside would be for 2015 if this evaluation goes through.
So the evaluation will be this year in August?
Correct,
Okay,
correct,
but
the 3rd and 4th.
but
And what
the-
she's doing with the Cosmetology Board, they approved at their previous meeting, they looked at her curriculum and what she offers. It's a little bit different than the ones we currently have. And so they, in May, will approve that August date. They have yet to do that. So if you've got any other questions or would like them to come back in May, they definitely can do that.
My only problem with these type of seminars is that the barbers always are slighted. We don't always get what we get less than what the cosmetologist is being offered, and I would have some questions for again, what's her name?
Her name is Elnora Dorch Warwood.
Warwick. I would have some questions for Ms. Warwick.
Okay.
If she can, I would like, now this just me, to ask her a couple of questions if she can
Absolutely.
appear before the board.
Absolutely.
Just to find out exactly what she will be offering
Okay.
barbers
Okay, and-
specifically.
And I don't have those answers for you, so she knew that it would be tough not being able to make this meeting. Then if I'm correct, we are making a motion that she appear before the board at the May meeting.
I definitely agree, because every seminar that I have attended, it was something like 90% cosmetology, maybe 10% barbering, very little barbering. So I would, we would like to know, her percentage of barbering versus cosmetology.
Yeah, because if they're going to be presenting anything about barbering, they would need to have some barbers in their instructors anyway to be able to present something to the people that's looking for the barbering. So I think it would be a good idea to have her
Have her come in May.
to come in.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do we have a motion for her to come to the May meeting?
I'd like to make a motion that Ms. Warwick would appear to the next meeting to discuss her seminar.
Second.
Been moved and second that we ask her to appear before the board. Hearing the motion and ready to vote, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, use the same sign. Motion carried. And before we get off of that, would that necessarily, he stated at the next meeting, it might not work with her schedule. So I think if we would just allow you and her the time to
Absolutely.
decide when it should be.
Absolutely, yes. I
Okay.
will coordinate that with her today. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Next, we will be looking at applications. We have one applicant for reciprocity. It's a master barber license from Illinois for Shalabi Abdul Rodriguez. Certification verifies licensure by reciprocity and initial date in October 2013. Original hours provided on transcript show 2,000 hours received outside of the United States. Mr. Rodriguez was presented to the board at the November 19, 2012 meeting and denied reciprocity. He has since then obtained a license from Illinois, but there is no state examination that he took in Illinois. The recommendation is that the applicant take the Tennessee examination.
And we don't have proof of his hours, right? This is just what he's saying.
That is correct. And this is the issue, now we have the new license application that we approved at the last meeting, where our international students will be using that application. They'll be providing, because reciprocity doesn't allow for international applicants. They don't have a license system like ours anyway. So with those, we usually get a transcript from the school. Many times it has to be translated, and that's all we get. And in many cases, they've been approved to test. Some cases they haven't. We really have a hard time verifying those hours, if you will.
If they can't provide proof, we have a problem with just going by what they say. We have to have proof
Right.
of those hours.
Right, and he has the documentation here that he's provided. We have no way to verify it, but yes, he does. He has the proof here from the school of the hours that state 2,000 hours with an average grade of 91.8%. And that's provided by him. It's not a state or the country sending it directly, but that's what our international students are able to provide us.
See, even if some states should issue him a license, we still shouldn't approve it because we don't have proof of his hours. So I don't think he should get reciprocity.
Illinois does not test.
They did not. They accepted him on reciprocity. They
Okay.
counted the hours and accepted that as a license for that country because he was following those laws. And therefore, they gave him and he's been practicing there. And that license from Illinois goes back to, I believe, 2013. So it was after we denied it.
In this curriculum, I don't know anywhere in here anything about shaving or some of the other barber skills.
Institution of beauty and hairstyling, so it's cosmetology too. So I think we need more proof for the background before we can do anything with this, actually. Whatever the board decide. Like you stated, we need some more proof before we can go forward with this. If he can't provide that, we can't go on to Illinois. I don't think so.
So your recommendation was that he take the exam.
Yes.
Was that the recommendation? And
Which would mean you would be accepting the hours
Right.
and allow him to test. But
okay, but we're not.
you all, yes,
Right.
absolutely. You can
Right.
decide.
I don't even.
I just don't see how we can accept hours. I can't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a motion to deny the
I like the
request.
motion that we deny Mr. Rodriguez's request for reciprocity.
I second.
Moving properly second that we deny this request. You're in the motion, ready to vote?
Mr. Jones, just to
Yes.
clarify, is that a denial pending further receipt of
For the-
provable
Yes,
information?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
approval.
Proof.
So
of
he
his
may
hours.
resubmit
Yeah.
additional information
Exactly.
if he has it.
If he
Thank you.
has
If he
it.
has
If
it,
he
right.
hasn't, yeah, thank you. Chris.
Otherwise, he can go to school in
Right.
Tennessee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have our consent orders for the month of April. They totaled $3,450. They're presented for your approval.
A motion to approve.
I motion that we approve the consent orders.
I second.
Moving proper second that we approve the consent orders. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, use the same sign. Ayes have it, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, now we move to staff attorney report.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Okay.
In front of you on the iPad, you have the legal report for this month's meeting. There will be 11 items on this report, and I will read the summaries to the board, and then board members would just make any notes and questions that you might have along the way, and then we will take questions, if any, at the end. Item number 1 is complaint number 2014-00-4351. This complaint alleges that the respondent may have obtained his master barber license via reciprocity on the basis of military service without being properly qualified to do so. However, this investigation revealed that the respondent was able to and did provide sufficient proof of eligibility for licensure on the basis of prior military service. As such, dismissal of this complaint is required. This particular individual had been in the military for 20 years, had provided proof of living at multiple different postings, just a ton of stuff that you can't fake. So that's, but better that it was checked and verified. Number 2, complaint number 2013-021-071. The above referenced complaint alleges that the respondent may have obtained her master barber license via reciprocity on the basis of military service without being properly qualified to do so. At its December 2013 meeting, the board authorized a consent order for the voluntary revocation of this license and a $1,000 civil penalty. However, the investigation revealed that the respondent is homebound due to numerous medical issues, that she rarely leaves home except to go to medical appointments, and that it is likely that someone stole her identity and obtained this license fraudulently. The respondent has agreed to have the license revoked, but requests that the civil penalty be waived in the light of her circumstances. The recommendation here is for the board to approve a consent order revoking the license, but waiving the $1,000 civil penalty. Number 3, same allegation as item number 2. Also in December 2013, the board authorized a consent order with a $1,000 civil penalty and voluntary license revocation. The investigation revealed that the respondent claims that someone stole his identity and obtained his license fraudulently, and there is some evidence to suggest this may have happened. As with item number 2, the respondent has agreed to have the license revoked, but requests that the civil penalty be waived in light of the circumstances. The recommendation is the same as item number 2, consent order for revocation of the license, but no civil penalty. Item number 4, this is another military service complaint as with the first 3. At the December 2013 meeting, board authorized a consent order with a $1,000 civil penalty and revocation. The respondent did request a waiver of the civil penalty based on financial hardship, and the board approved that request in February of 2014. However, the respondent did go ahead and pay the $1,000 civil penalty as authorized by the board in December. Therefore, it's recommended that the board reinstate its prior settlement offer from the December 2013 meeting to accept the $1,000 civil penalty and then go ahead and have the license revoked as well. Item number 5, number 2013-025-971. Notice of violation alleges the inspector observed the respondent shop allowing 2 individuals with expired licenses to provide barbering services to the public. The inspector also observed a dirty restroom and unclean exposed surfaces. Recommendation is a consent order with a $500 civil penalty. Item number 6, 2013-025-981. I believe this item is, notice of violation alleges that the inspector observed the respondent, a master barber, practicing on an expired license. As of the date of this report, the respondent's license remains expired. Otherwise, the respondent has no prior disciplinary history. The recommendation is for a consent order with a $250 civil penalty and a provision that requires the respondent to take all steps necessary to reinstate his license within 60 days of the consent order. If the respondent signs the consent order and pays the civil penalty, if the respondent fails to timely complete all the steps required by the consent order, the license will be automatically revoked based on the admitted violation. Item number 7, number 2013-025-991, same allegation as the previous item. However, in this case, immediately upon being notified of the expired license, the respondent took all necessary steps and paid the fees to get his license reinstated. Based on a lack of prior disciplinary history with the board, for this respondent, a letter of warning is recommended. Number 8, 2013-026-001. Notice of violation alleges that the inspector observed a shop open for business with a manager on duty whose license was expired. As of this report, the manager's license has been brought current, but the shop license is now expired. Recommendation here is for $250 civil penalty and a consent order with the same provision as before. The shop has 60 days to pay the civil penalty and get its license back in good standing. Otherwise, the shop license will be revoked. Number 9, notice of violation alleges the inspector observed a shop with its shop license improperly displayed. The respondent immediately corrected the issue upon being advised of it by the inspector. Because it's a relatively minor violation and the respondent has no other prior disciplinary history with the board, a letter of warning is recommended. Number 10, 2014-000-511. The inspector observed the respondent shop open for business with an expired license. Immediately upon notification of the expired shop license, the respondent took all necessary steps and paid the appropriate fees to reinstate its license. Based on a lack of prior disciplinary history, letter of warning is recommended. And item number 11, 2014-000-481. Notice of violation alleges the inspector observed the respondent shop open for business without its license displayed as required by law, and that there was no licensed manager present in the shop as required by law. Additionally, the inspector observed 2 expired Master Barber licenses posted in the shop. Those licenses remain expired as of the writing of this report, and that there were multiple sanitation violations, including dirty floors and multiple unclean workstations. The formal hearing, the recommendation is for a consent order and a $750 civil penalty. Mr. Jones, that concludes the legal report, and I'll be happy to take any questions at this time.
I'm concerned about 2 and 3. So the identification was stolen. That's hard to say whether they're telling the truth or not. I don't know. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying that, but if we allow that, I think we could open up a can of worms that people would use that as an excuse. So I can't see us granting them that because of if they were stolen, then I can't see us just going along with them on that. I can't see it.
On item number 3, Mr. Hyde, one of the difficulties in preparing these reports is giving the board enough information to make an informed decision without, giving away too much or saying something that would allow any board member to identify the person. But I'll give you an example on number 3. It's a valid point to question identity theft claims and not just take them at face value. However, on number 3, the signatures that appeared on the initial application for licensure and the money that was paid for the application fee did not in any way match the signatures that we got back from this individual.
Well, that's proof. Okay.
So it's one of those things where if this individual had claimed identity theft, but then sent us in something with his signature and it matched identically to the documentation that the board originally got for licensure, that would make that claim a lie on its face. But it's not close.
Okay. So on number 3, the signature did not match, but what about on number 2?
On number 2, the reason for that recommendation is essentially because of this person's medical issues. I just don't think there's any way that she could have even left the house to get the education, much less gone out and met whoever the person was that was doing the fraud. And that because now the counterpoint to that is with this person being homebound, who knows? She may ultimately know this person. It may be somebody that comes in and out of their house. Maybe it's a family member. Who knows? We don't know, and she's not saying. But at the same time, the interest I think the board has in this is getting the fraudulent license off the street as soon as possible, so that if this individual is out there and still attempting to use the license, that it's now revoked, and any inspector who shows up in a shop and comes across this license that this individual who's homebound doesn't have, they will know immediately that that license is bogus and is not to be relied upon.
I can understand it more thoroughly now, but number 2 is plain. I can understand, and number 3 is plain also now because the signatures didn't match, so it probably was on both parts stolen, so I can agree with it.
Hey, is there any more?
I have a question concerning number 6. His license still is not current.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your recommendation of $250 civil penalty, is that because there's no prior violations?
That's part of it, but I also think part of the board's goal is to have folks in the fold who, are licensed and want to practice and things of that nature. This individual had previously met the requirements, via education and the like, but now his license has just expired. So, there's going to be some fees additionally associated beyond the $250. So
Exactly.
that, I would say that strikes the right balance based on no prior disciplinary history to say, okay, look, you understand that this is a problem. You got to get your license current. So, you're going to get dinged a little for that, the $250, plus you got to pay the fees. Now, but also it's kind of the carrot and the stick approach. We're going to give you the carrot to try and give you the opportunity to get back in good standing. But if you sign this order and then you don't pay the money, your license is gone. So that gives them some incentive to move forward and get it done.
Yeah, I agree.
So we have 60 days anyway to prepare to do this, and if we don't do it, that
Think we broke anyway.
that's a
Well,
problem.
that's,
Yeah.
the reason it's phrased that way is so that they sign the consent order and the 60-day clock starts from that time period. 60 days from then, if the money's not paid and, we haven't heard from them or anything like that, the board doesn't have to go through the time and expense of a formal hearing because this person's already admitted the violation. And so the license is just gone on day 61.
All right, very good. I agree.
Okay, that concludes it? Okay,
If there are no further questions, yes, it does.
all right. Are we ready to vote on? Accept it?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the legal report for today.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the legal report. All in favor, let it be known by voting, sign.
Aye.
Opposed, may use the same sign. Ayes have it. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the last item is our new business, and we are on page 94 of your iPads. This is information, I've got a list there of names regarding the PSI Matter Experts meeting. PSI and the board office will be conducting their Matter Experts review meeting June the 10th through June the 13th of 2014 in Nashville. The agenda is located, and the exact location haven't been finalized yet. This review is set up in the contract between the board and PSI, and it takes place every 2 years, so the last time this was done was in 2012. The list of names recommended for the meeting are presented for your review. Upon your review and approval, we will go ahead and make a motion to keep these. These are the names that will go to PSI, and they will send out the invitations to see if those individuals are able to make the meetings. They will be sending most of them through email. The desire is to have between 8 to 10 individuals each day. Tuesday and Wednesday is set aside for the Barber examiners. We will have a Barber board member on each of the days, and there shouldn't be a conflict with the Sunshine Law if we have one person on each day. So the executive director and board office individual will be attending all of the days to make sure that we wrap up all the way to the end. Please let me know if you think there are any names that we should add or that you'd have concerns about. When the meetings start, everyone signs, and Mr. High, you've attended in the past, as have you, right, Mr. Collins? Yeah.
Exactly, I
Yeah.
have.
And we sign a confidentiality agreement, is that correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic, okay. Yeah.
Okay, y'all had a chance to review any questions? Need to add anybody, or any questions on anyone that's on it?
Was it the intention to keep Mr. Payne on that list?
I checked with legal counsel. Since he is no longer on the board, he can attend both days. As being, having had the experience of the years, that's the reason that we added him on. Yes.
Blake, is he already agreed to?
He's attended in the past. I don't believe he was able to attend 2012. None of these individuals have gotten the invitation yet, so it is a possibility that they wouldn't be able to attend. By the time, I think if, like I said, we have one current board member on each of the days, we
Right.
probably will be okay if a couple of those can't make it. I will be there during all of them, and at least 2 individuals from PSI that have previous year's history.
Okay, do we have?
Happy to be a part of that meeting, but if need be.
Okay. That's-
Wonderful.
Okay.
That's
Added on
Thank
the
you.
date that this will happen?
This is going to take place June 10th, which
Okay.
is that Tuesday, through June 13th, Friday. The first 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, will be Barber days. And so once I let PSI know that the Barber Board as well as the Cosmetology Board have looked at the names, given any additional names as we have today, possibly taken out any that you would have a reason to take out, then they will send out the emails and phone calls to invite the individuals.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything with this then, just accept what you have and,
If you'll
and
make a
you
motion
go.
to accept the names, yes, and I will be, right as the meeting ends, adding one more name, which is fine, and then we'll be done.
A motion to accept it?
I can make a motion that we accept the review committee.
Second?
Been moved and properly second that we accept the reviewing committee. All in favor, let it be known by voting sign.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Thank you.
Still
Okay,
motion
yes.
to adjourn unless you have other business.
Do we have anyone in the audience who would
Before
like
we
to
adjourn.
bring us something?
Before we adjourn, I'd like to recognize a good friend of mine. He and I, we went to Barber College together. I met him 47 years ago. We've been friends ever since. Just Leonard Summers, raise your hand, Leonard. We've been friends ever since. He was a great barber, too. He's a great barber. Yeah, we've been friends. We met him 47 years ago. Yeah.
Good to have you here with us today, to see all the hard work that we had, what we had to go through with. And the young man sitting there, he already know, because
Yeah, he
he's a
know.
regular attendant. Glad to have all of you here. And I just want to say that thank you all for putting up with me here today. I'm not JB, but I'm trying to do my part. And
Great job.
hopefully that everything went well and got all the business taken care of. And if nothing else, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'd like make a motion that we adjourn.
I'd like to second it.
Motion second that we adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Good job.
Good job, Joe.
Good job, Joe.
Absolutely. Not a good weekend to do that. Okay, give me your full name.